The first day of quarterfinal action is over, and today did not disappoint. We had all of the favourites winning: Musetti, Alcaraz, Sabalenka and Iga, and there's lots to discuss.
So, the first four quarterfinals have been played, and it seems to be a theme at this Roland Garros that all the favourites have won. And Carlos Alcaraz finished the day with the most convincing of wins out of all of them today. There were some competitive matches. I'd say Sabalenka versus Kim Win-jung, that was competitive. I'd say the most competitive was Musetti versus Tiafoe up until maybe the last set. And we had obviously Iga. She was pretty good in that first set. Svitolina came back a little bit, but Iga is showing that she could win her fifth Roland Garros title this year. We got lots of stats for Iga, obviously, because she's just won so many consecutive matches here. But I think the place we've got to start, JG, is at the end. And I think Carlos Alcaraz winning in such impressive fashion against Tommy Paul, who is the number 12 player in the world and a former French Open junior champion. And Alcaraz winning the first two sets, 6-love, 6-1. I mean, this was a ridiculous level of tennis. I've not even seen anybody play this level of tennis in this tournament up until this point. Even Jannik Sinner would have been watching that and thinking, oh my word, this kid, he was hitting everything with top speed power into the corners, and Tommy Paul couldn't even get a rally going. It was that dominant the first two sets, and it was only when the unforced errors started to come in that third set that we got a little bit of a more even contest. But still, Alcaraz always had another level that he could raise to just wipe him off the court. Serious tennis from Alcaraz and a statement. He's put that. He's probably watched Sinner and he's thought, oh, you can do that to top players. Well, look what I can do.
Yeah, I disagree with you that, well, surprise, surprise, I disagree. But I think that it was amazing from Carlos Alcaraz, but it's not that we've not seen it this tournament. We've seen it consistently from Jannik Sinner. He's been phenomenal for the last two matches and he's played almost perfect tennis. What we've seen from Alcaraz today is him looking at Jannik Sinner and thinking, you know what, I can do that as well. And that's exactly what we've seen. It's been his best performance. It was phenomenal from him to beat Tommy Paul, who is a very good player. And on paper, you'd have to look at that match, Tommy Paul, Alcaraz. We've seen some good matches between them in the past. Tommy Paul has beaten him before. And you'd have to think that looks quite close. And maybe some people would think, oh, Tommy Paul might be able to beat him. It could be a bit of a shock. But no, it wasn't. 1 hour, 32 minutes, and he dismantled him completely. It wasn't even close. There wasn't a moment where Tommy Paul looked like he could win. He was very defeated in his body language, and rightly so, because he just had nothing to offer to be able to compete with a Carlos Alcaraz. And the current climate of men's tennis is Jannik Sinner, Carlos Alcaraz, and then the rest. I generally believe there's nobody close into that third place spot. And we're going to see these two going head to head for many, many titles. I hope they can remain as number 1 and 2 in the world, because that means we'll be getting more final matchups against the two. I do think that will be the case. And I'll be surprised if we don't see these two players reach the final based on their performances thus far. I don't see anyone really coming close and pushing them or taking them to a depth of a fifth. And that's just the way the climate of the men's game is right now. I don't know if you want to speak more about Alcaraz, or we can talk about the women's.
Well, we'll stick with the men's once we've spoken about Alcaraz, because he will be playing in the semi-final, obviously Musetti now, and that was the big matchup pre-tournament that we were looking forward to. Alcaraz, this should have been really his biggest test. I think Shelton was a bigger test, and I think Damir Jamur was actually a tougher test, and even maybe Marazan to a level. But this just goes to show you can't really judge anything from those last performances, because Alcaraz's level is just gradually getting better as the tournament's going. Semi-final, Musetti must, if he's gone back and watched that, or if he was sitting there watching that, he must be thinking, I just dropped a set to Tiafoe. look what I've got on my hands now. I've already been defeated by Alcaraz this year in a final as well. It's the toughest match on clay for sure, especially for Musetti. It's a scary prospect. Can he do it? We'll probably give you our thoughts once we've reviewed Musetti's match as well, because there's a lot to talk about in that one too, isn't there?
Yeah, to give some perspective on how Yannick Sinner's been playing this last month, it's taken Yuri Lehechka 55 minutes, Casper Ruud 47 minutes, and Rublev 27 minutes just to win a game against Yannick Sinner. So they're three excellent top professional tennis players who are at the top of their game. And he was able to do that on a clay court. Casper Ruud's a clay court specialist. Yuri Lehechka's not bad too. So it's
after 3 months off.
You need to put everything into perspective in the sense that I don't think that Alcaraz's performance today just blows Sinner out the water.
No,
I still think Sinner is the man to be.
I don't think it blows him out the water, but I
you
think
said you've not seen anyone play as well as Alcaraz.
I haven't seen anybody play the level of tennis in such a dominant fashion where there weren't even any rallies. It was just literally
a few matches recently haven't been that dominant.
No, he has more rallies though.
Do you not watch him versus Lehechka?
Yeah, there's more rallies. I'm saying the dominance of this match was literally Alcaraz. They'd get into like 1 or 2 shots and he'd just go boom and it's gone. There you go. Next point, serve. They come in, finish it off. Literally, that was the first 2 sets. I was just watching it thinking, what is going on? Tommy Paul can't even.
Lehechka. It was similar.
It's similar, but Alcaraz on the clay court, it just has a different energy right now. The fact that he's done that has impressed me more because I know the level that he can bring on a clay court. We haven't even seen his best level yet. I don't even think that's his best level. It's still to come. Watch out, Musetti. And this is what Alcaraz said after that performance. He said, "Oh, I know you wanted to watch more tennis. I have to say sorry about it. I have to do my work." Yeah, he definitely did his work and put a lot of the other players to shame, really. Think you paid money for that ticket, though, and you're there to watch the Alcaraz show. You sort of did get a show, but it was like a dominant show. It wasn't like the it's a back and forth match. It was just him at his absolute best for 2 sets. I'd say maybe 2 and a bit. But yeah, he turned it on at the end and just got the job done. And now becomes the youngest man to reach 7 Grand Slam singles semifinals since Rafael Nadal in 2008, who just had his birthday, I believe. Is that right, JG?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, he said he's sad not to be celebrating it at Roland Garros, but he did put out a video and he was saying that how all the staff there made it super special for him every year. And that was why at his leaving farewell ceremony, he was so happy to see all of the people who he sees every year who make Roland Garros like special for him. So happy birthday, Rafa. It's probably a little bit less stressful than his normal birthdays this year, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's not the same. We don't get to see him on a tennis court, so I do lose interest in all of the off-court things like I used to like before for players which are no longer playing. And with Rafa, it's just every time I see him, it's a bit sad because I just want to see him playing tennis, especially here at Roland Garros. This is the time of year where he comes to life and we see some of the amazing performances. And we've seen him do what Alcaraz has done hundreds of times before. And I don't think anyone could complain too much. At least they got to see Carlos Alcaraz in the flesh playing some fantastic tennis.
Yep. And
that's the way it can go sometimes. In terms of what Alcaraz said after the match, he said he's motivated by Sinner's dominant victories. He said it inspired him, and he knows how important it is to play such a great level so you have more time to recover. So it's a conscious effort for him to be zoned in and do what he did today on the tennis court. And someone else who looked pretty good is Lorenzo Musetti. He beat Tiafoe in 4 sets, and he's been one of the most consistent, clay court players this year. There was a few stats flying around. I don't know if you've got any on the screen, but there was. I didn't send them over to you, but I saw some earlier on how well he's performed on a clay court compared to everyone else, he's right up there with some of the best ever players to do it. Especially his success in the latter end of Masters clay court events and now Roland Garros as well. Can he go on and win the tournament and beat Carlos Alcaraz? I don't think so. Not in this form. Look, here's his clay season so far: Monte Carlo final, Madrid semi-final, Rome semi-final, and Roland Garros semi-final. And there was a list of all the players who have done this. Not many. He's there with the very best doing it. So credit to him, and he's certainly a clay court specialist. Despite that, I still don't think he could get close to the likes of Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. It feels a 1-2 and a massive gap beneath them. But that's not what we're going to be talking about. We're not going to speak about whether we think he can beat him, because there was a big incident in the match.
Yes, indeed. There was. It's one thing having all those great results, though, but how many trophies is he picking up? I think that's the one thing you're going to be judged upon, really, come the end of the year. It's nice to go deep in tournaments, but need some silverware, because all that would mean is you're not quite mentally there to compete with the best players on the tour, and that's what he has in the next match. But let's speak about the thing that could have changed this match, and it was one of those incidents that, have we seen it before, JG? I've had a little bit of a flashback. He kicked a ball and it hit a line judge. Have you ever heard of anything ever happening in a tennis match like that before? And they just played on. Didn't seem to be any problem there. Line judge didn't seem bothered, and nothing was said about it. And they just continued playing. Musetti went on to win, now through to the semi-finals.
I mean, it is double standards completely, because there's not that much difference between that incident and the Djokovic one. I feel the big difference is the reaction of the line judge. And if the ball, after Musetti hit them and she went down and made a big fuss, and Musetti run over and created a scene and there was people gasping in the audience, he probably would have been defaulted. But because there wasn't any of that, he got away with it, which means it's not quite fair, is it? I feel like it's a double standards of the rule. We need to have the rule, and then if that rule's broken, then there should be the punishment for it. Of course, it is harsh, but let's be fair. The Djokovic one is as well, and both incidents aren't intentional. I think it's safe to say. Unfortunately for Djokovic, the line judge, I think, did him over a bit, whereas the Musetti one, just were very kind, gave him the benefit of the doubt.
I mean, if anything, Musetti not as accurate with his shot. Djokovic one right in the throat, whereas Musetti's one just, I think it just came off the chest a little bit there. The reaction was just not there, though, was it? That was the main thing. No reaction means no attention. No attention and no complaint means no punishment, apparently. It shouldn't really be like that. It should just be down to the discretion of an umpire, of like, you've done something. And it's like Tiafoe, he was asked about in his post-match press conference, said he did that and nothing happened. He said, I think that's comical. And there he is, just sat there. He played pretty well today, to be honest. I think he would never have envisaged, I don't think, that he was going to get this far at Roland Garros. But the fact he got there, he was playing well for a couple of sets, just lost focus, lost his movement. I think all of his positioning while hitting the ball, he became lazy a bit with his hitting, and Musetti just looked like he wanted it a bit more. And that was why he won this match today, a bit more desire. And Musetti has sort of dialed himself in bigger moments, said he doesn't complain as much anymore, has a child now, he's a father, he has another child on the way. All of that stuff is really just pushing him in
very
a better,
grounded, isn't he?
Yeah, and I like the fact that he is like a bit of an open book when he is like in that post-match interviews on court. I quite like those ones. He tries to have a little joke here and there, because they were talking about his attack. Well, they were talking about his style of play. It always comes in with the single-handed backhands, doesn't it? So it's a very elegant style of play you have. And he just said, I'm Italian. We are very elegant. Which I like. He's got a good sense of humor as well. It's always nice to see. But sense of humor doesn't win you Grand Slams. Big match performances do, and he's going to need one against Carlos Alcaraz in the semi-final because it's going to be such a high level in comparison to Tiafoe.
Yeah, definitely. I can't really add any more to what you've said. I feel Tiafoe will be pleased he's got this far. Musetti deserved to win. He was the better player. The default would have been harsh, but if that's what the rule is, then it should have been enforced. And it is a double standards, and it's not fair on Novak Djokovic what happened to him at the US Open for this not to happen to then Musetti. And I can understand why Tiafoe would be annoyed with that too. But let us know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding that. Let's move on over to the women's because there's plenty to speak about there.
Yep.
And it looks like we're getting the big semi-final on paper we thought we could get, and that is Iga Sabalenka. So many different variables. It's a matchup which over the years I've always said I want to see more of because I never know which way it's going to go. You'd have to say Sabalenka's been performing better of late, but there's some big stat you just can't really get past, and that is Iga at Roland Garros.
Yep.
If she wins the first set, she's won 37 matches from winning the first set. She's never lost. Also, her Roland Garros record is 40 wins, 2 losses. Rafael Nadal at this stage had 40 wins, 1 loss. She's on the same level with Bjorn Borg on the clay of Roland Garros. So she's on track to become the greatest ever female player at Roland Garros. She's very dominant on this surface and in these conditions at this time of the year. So if you put all of that together, then surely she's just going to go on and win this tournament as well. We've seen Rafa consistently do it so many times. But awaiting her is Sabalenka. And Sabalenka, for me, is a different animal altogether. She is the best player in the world. And if anyone can stop Iga's run, it's surely going to be her. So we're going to be in for a massive semi-final. Of course, whoever wins that, I believe, will be favourite for the final.
Yeah.
So whoever wins that one will be favourite for the final, whether it's Coco Gauff or Mirandileva. But there's not to say that either of them two couldn't go on and win it. But just a lot riding on this semi.
Oh, a huge amount. And watching both of their performances, obviously, I had Kim Win-jung to win the whole tournament. That can no longer happen because Sabalenka has knocked her out of the tournament. And it was a very competitive first set. She was up a break in that first set was Kim Win-jung, but she double faulted twice and allowed Sabalenka back in the match. And you can't do that to a world number one and the best player on tour. And unfortunately, that was sort of the undoing, that she got to the tie break and then Saba took over. The power was too much. And I think there was a little bit of inexperience from Kim Win-jung. And she just said she got too tight in big moments. And she said, that's not to do with the opponent. That's just to do with me. And it's a Roland Garros quarterfinal. I need to try and handle my nerves. Sabalenka, I would say another player, maybe an Iga, she may have capitalized more on that opportunity. And that's why I think the performances of the two, I'd say Saba had the tougher match, but Iga's performance was better still. It's just Svitolina, she completely shut her out in the first set, like breadsticked her in the first set. And then the second set was close, but then she just has this extra gear she turns on at the business end. And I was saying to you, I think Svitolina might be able to be in with a shout at this second set. No, there you go. It was pretty much over as soon as I said that at 5-all. That's what Iga can do. And after us both saying we thought 3 sets for both those matches, the favourites both won in straight sets. And it's a signal of intent. And I think that's a good sign coming into that semi-final because it makes it even more like hard to call. This one from Vanch is a good tweet as well. I like this one.
Yeah, we've had to wait a long 33 months for this moment. A meeting between Iga and Sabalenka at a major, super high stakes, major semi-final between the two best WTA players this decade should be an absolute blockbuster. Exactly what I've said. And just before we speak about the semi-final, I want to speak about the Qinwen Sabalenka match. I've not really had a chance to
Sure.
speak about that one. I
Go
know
go
you
for
said
it.
a few things, but there's a few talking points on this one. First being Zheng saying that she should have played a lot more aggressive, and I think that's what she fell down on, probably due to the nerves. She tightened up and didn't play her full ability. Despite that, it was still a very close match, and she could have beaten Saba on a better day. So if she was a bit more aggressive, then I think it could have gone the distance and been very
Maybe.
tight in that third set. The second thing is she needs to be a lot more focused in the match. She was easily distracted throughout. I feel some of the decisions got in her head. I mean, this was a big moment as you've got up right now. She stopped play at 4-5, 30 all because she thought Sabalenka's ball was out. The umpire come to check it, said the ball was in. Hawkeye disagrees with the umpire's decision, and this call gave Alina a set point, a crucial moment. There was moments where I feel she was taking it into her own hands, getting distracted, looking at the crowd, and it's not the first time I've seen it. She needs to focus on her game because she's an outstanding tennis player who come very close against the best player in the world. So if she can just work on being a little bit more aggressive in these pressure moments and just keeping her concentration, then she is one who can go on and win Grand Slams.
Yeah, totally agree. I like her fight and her determination, and the fact that she isn't afraid to upset a few people on the tour just to get herself to the top of the sport. But she has to remember, similar to like Coco Gauff did, you need to get yourself in a certain zone on a tennis court, and you need to be able to reset in big moments. And allowing these moments to affect the rest of your match or the rest of that game, she needs to get out of that mindset. It's a really difficult thing to do in tennis because once you have something bad go against you, it's lingering at the back of your mind for a long time. So she's still so young, though. I mean, we can't be too critical of her. She's already beaten Sabalenka this year already, so she knows she can do it. She's beaten Iga on a clay court as well. She knows she can do it. It's just about staying focused and just small adjustments to the game. So I think she'll be fine in the future. It's just not her year this year, but we do get the big one. And I think even though I'm sad that she's out, I'm sort of happy we get to see Sabalenka versus Iga as well, though, because that is the match.
Yeah, I can't call it. I don't know which way it's going to go. We've not seen enough of them recently, especially in a Grand Slam, to have any kind of basis to make a decision. It's the better player in Sabalenka versus the better player at the tournament in Iga. So I'm really torn. I'm not even looking into the head-to-head too much or any of that.
No.
I know Iga's better on clay. You can go through all of these stats. It feels like a very 50-50 matchup. I'm not sure which way the bookies have it even. Who do they have as the favourite?
That's a good
That will
point.
be interesting to me.
I haven't checked, but I will
Who
check
do you
now.
reckon it is before I check?
Well, I thought it'd be Iga.
So it looks like it is Saba for me.
Wow.
I can't quite see it because it's all in fractional.
Yeah, it is. I've just checked it. It
Yeah,
says
Sabalenka 1.8, Iga evens. Crazy.
wow. That how often have you seen that at Roland Garros?
Never.
Iga,
I don't think
an
ever.
underdog. Me personally, I'm swaying towards Iga in this matchup. And I think it's because everybody ruled her out, including ourselves. This tournament, I think the pressure's been off of her a little bit, and she's got a point to prove to everybody as well. This is no better place for her to prove a point than at her favourite tournament. The one she's won it 4 times, and she's won it the last, was it 3 in a row? So that doesn't happen by coincidence. She's damn good at this event, and she's been getting better as the tournament's been going on as well. The last performance was her best one. So now Sabalenka. I don't think Sabalenka was as convincing against Qinwen as Iga was against Svitolina, but tougher matchup. So hard to really do tennis maths there.
Yeah, definitely. Probably the best place to end this, Ben, is let's look at our quarterfinal predictions and
Yes.
see who did better on the predictions. I famously said you'll never ever beat me, and I don't think that was ever going to happen in the history of Game to Love. But let's see if I
So
was wrong. Did you manage to beat me?
here we go. On the women's side, I got 0 points for my Zheng prediction, and you got 1 point for Sabalenka to win, but she did win in straight sets, so you had her in 3, and I had Iga in 3, and you had Svitolina to win, so I only got 1 point for that, and you got 0. So we're 1-1 on the women's.
Okay.
So that was a
You've
stalemate.
still 2 matches to play.
Yep. And on the men's, I had Musetti to win in 4, which did happen. So I got 3 points. And you had Musetti straight set, so you get a point. I had Alcaraz 3-1, so I only get a point. But you had Alcaraz straight set, so you get 3. So we're level on that one as well. Ooh. I think it's very, very close going into day 2 of the quarterfinals. And I think Bublik may be my undoing. If I'm totally honest. But
Not really. I feel like it's all going to be coming down to Novak Djokovic, Zverev. I mean, if Zverev wins, I find it hard for you to beat me. If Djokovic wins, especially if it's in 5, then you probably will win.
It's a real risk, this one, though. Come on. I mean, it's going for Bublik. This is nearly a guaranteed 3 points here, and I've gone real risky just to try and get one over.
Why did you do it then? You can't say that now. It's too late.
I think it could happen. I think it still could happen.
Well, there we go then. It's not a risk then if you think it's going to happen.
Well, it's definitely
calculated risk.
Calculated. And on the women's, I think it's all just down to the men's because we're all the same on the women's. Oh, no.
I think I played this perfectly. It's all going to be down to Sasha Zverev, and he's going to beat Novak Djokovic, so no one has to worry at all. But let us know in the comments section, who do you think is going to win the quarterfinal predictions? Let us know your predictions for tomorrow and anything else we spoke about. Do you think Musetti should have been defaulted from the match? Who do you think will win out of Iga or Sabalenka? And do you think we're going to be on a collision for Alcaraz, Sinner, and can anyone else stop them two? Is it them two and everyone else? Or is there another name who you think could do some damage? Of course, Sinner will be pleased that Draper's out because he now has Bublik. But you never know. Ben seems to think Bublik could do something magic.
Might win the whole thing.
Well, there we go. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you soon.